Live now look there at the U.S. Capitol. We want to dive into a major story we've been tracking all week, and that, of course, was this House floor vote that took place yesterday morning on whether or not TikTok should be banned. Now, the bill didn't outright say that. The bill would force TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, to sell it, to divest of it. But if it does not, it would inevitably lead to a ban. Well, TikTok's CEO appeared on Capitol Hill today. He met with certain lawmakers. Fox caught up with him. Let's watch.
Sir, why won't ByteDance just sell the company? That would avoid a ban. Why wouldn't you just sell?
The bill is 12 pages long. We have looked at it. It is not feasible to do whatever the bill thinks it does within the perimeter set out in the bill.
To divest the company?
So this bill, in all the details, you can go through the details. This will lead to the banning of the app in the country.
Mr. Chu, but it wouldn't if you just sell the company. The Chinese government does not have any influence over TikTok.
All right, kudos there to Fox's Aisha Hasni and Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn there as they kind of tried to get TikTok CEO Shou-Zi Chew there to take their questions. You heard very briefly, I know the audio was a little low, on whether or not Chew believes that this is possible. He does not. He says it is not feasible as well. Well, we're all talking about this and how it will fare on the Senate side as well. What we want to do is bring into the conversation our friend at MarketWatch, Rob Schroeder, and he joins us. Rob, good to see you. I know you've been following this a lot lately. I think a lot of people are wondering, you know, how does this look on the Senate side? You saw there the CEO, Chew, he was meeting with some senators today. Did that bear any fruit? What do we know about some of those meetings?
Sure. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, on the Senate side, it seems that this bill has a much steeper climb, no matter the meetings that the CEO may have had on Capitol Hill today. You know, even in the House, there was some trepidation from members, including strange bedfellows, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They said that the bill was rushed, in their opinion, and they had some concerns about the availability of information to Americans, many of whom use this app. So the Senate is traditionally where things go to cool, as the saying goes, and it does look like it's on a road that's a bit slower than in the House, as possibly committees get involved and legislation gets amended.
I mean, do we have a count yet, Rob, about, like, you know, how many senators would be in favor or would be opposed? I haven't seen one yet. I want to put this tweet up here from some of your contemporaries on Capitol Hill with, I believe, Politico, saying that the TikTok CEO was just spotted entering John Fetterman's office. Fetterman has come out in support of the House bill. So I think this is kind of shaping up to be somewhat of a toss-up, maybe?
Yeah, and I think even more telling, Andrew, is the sort of non-committance of Senator Schumer. Of course, the Senate Majority Leader. He controls the proceedings, I think, more than anyone in the Senate. And he said, we'll review this, we'll take a look at it. Certainly it's going to have its strong supporters like the one you just mentioned. But it's got folks like, say, Senator Cantwell from Washington, who want to take a closer look at this amid things like First Amendment concerns. You know, this is in many ways an expressive platform, and the freedom of expression, of course, is sacred in this country, even as the ownership can be questioned as well.
You know, Rob, I thought was so interesting in this debate is you have this kind of weird phenomenon taking place where members of the House, you know, voted for the ban, and after they did that, they immediately took to their own TikTok accounts to explain why they voted for a ban. I mean, that is somewhat of the cognitive dissonance at play, isn't that?
Well, not only that, of course, but you have President Biden saying that he would sign this bill, and the Biden re-election campaign using the app itself. So there's certainly a recognition of the power and the reach of this particular social media app. It has more than 170 million users, which is roughly half the size of the U.S. population. So certainly, I think the issue is not with the technology itself, but rather with the ownership, as has been pointed out in this legislation. There's pretty grave concern about the ownership by a Chinese company, and that a Chinese company that would ultimately be overseen by the government in Beijing. So yes, lawmakers are kind of having it both ways, but it is indeed possible that one day to someone this app will be sold and could retain some of its useful characteristics in the minds of U.S. politicians.
Yeah, kind of following the reporting, I don't know if you have, of some of these potential buyers, say, ByteDance does and is forced to divest TikTok US. There, I was seeing that former Trump Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is somewhat putting together some type of consortium of buyers, potential buyers at that, to take it off of ByteDance's hands here. So Oracle as well, Microsoft as well, they're all in the mix. And so it seems like it is deja vu from the Trump administration, because we were talking about the divestment question, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And indeed, there's no shortage, as you point out, of people or companies that are interested in this particular app. 170 million users is quite a nice notch on your corporate resume, if you like. And there's a lot there. The valuation of the company certainly would be quite high, and it could be a good investment for someone like Secretary Mnuchin or others, or one of the corporations, to sort of add to their portfolio. Yeah. So I wouldn't imagine that there would be a lack of interest in sort of snapping this up. But at the moment, ByteDance is not letting go of it. And in fact, the Chinese government spokesman, after the House bill passed, or shortly before, was quick to telegraph, insult at this, and say that this is not good, in their opinion.
Rob, lastly, I'm just kind of curious, too, because we hear so often that TikTok has such a powerful lobbying arm behind it. And then you saw the vote margins yesterday. Was that a failure on TikTok's part? Their lobbyists, their policy advisors as well. Was this a real kind of black eye for them yesterday? We always hear how powerful that arm is for TikTok, but coming up short, obviously, from the vote total yesterday, right?
Quite short. You don't see numbers like that in either chamber very often on legislation like this that could be considered controversial, certainly a controversial subject. So yes, I think that I heard some stories about individuals calling. I'm not sure who exactly they were, but individuals calling members of Congress's office and leaving messages that I think intensified the opposition to what the company was trying to do. It essentially had the reverse effect.
Yeah, I just want to kind of echo some of these other senators. Aisha Hasni caught up with Mike Braun, the Republican of Indiana, and he said this in response to Aisha Hasni's question: are you worried the speed is 0 miles per hour, that it just winds up dying in the Senate? Braun said this: well, then it would be on his shoulders, meaning Chuck Schumer. So for some reason, he'll have to explain why he's quick on many things and slow on this. So is this all riding on Chuck Schumer's support here?
Well, the Senate has quite a few other things going on at the moment, as you no doubt know. The government shutdown once again is coming up. There's Ukraine and Israel aid. There's a bigger budget bill, and so on. And this is one of many things. But yes, I think if the leaders of the institution want to fast track or prioritize something, that's within their power.
All right, MarketWatch's Rob Schroeder. We're going to have to leave it at that. We always appreciate your insight and your reporting. We'll definitely talk soon. Thanks so much, Rob.
Thank you.